The issue for this PowerPoint and the issue that I used back in Module 3 was an increased numbers in the outpatient laboratory and pathology coding work queues. So just to give you a little background so you understand kind of how it works is, for example, I'm recording this today on Wednesday. After we get off of work on Wednesday, so at midnight, so technically Thursday, all the claims come over into our work queues at midnight on Thursday, and all those claims were typically from Wednesday's outpatient laboratory and pathology tests. Some might be from Tuesday, and outliers might go a little bit back, but typically they're all from Wednesday. And the problem that we're seeing is we typically know our numbers for the time of the year. In the winter, that's when we'll have a lot more laboratory and pathology tests being done compared to the summer. So in the winter, our numbers are higher, but even in the summer, they're still daily enough to keep us busy for 8 hours or 5 days a week. But we've been noticing an issue with an increase in numbers. So um, I believe the causations are by the following. It could be caused by not knowing how to fix the errors. There are a lot of errors in all of the work queues, and typically there's two people a work queue. So they might not know it, and they might just skip on over it, which is understandable because it's better just to skip over it than trying to fix it yourself and making a bigger problem. Technology and software issues in Epic, we have seen this in the past where the tests just aren't coming over in Epic, so it is a technology issue. Just, technology is a great thing, but it also kind of comes back to bite you in the butt every now and then, and that could be another causation. Another one that I think is people are just skipping over claims. We'll get transplant claims that are millions of dollars. If people see that and like, oh gosh, there's so much work on here, I don't want to do it, and they just simply hit skip and it just sits there. And what these issues cause is it costs the Cleveland Clinic money. There's as my next bullet point says is outdated claims cannot be billed after a certain point. So if it's sitting in there long enough and people skipped over it enough, or people didn't know how to do it and they thought they did and they kept trying and that claim kept coming back and back and back, at one point in time we're going to lose money because we cannot get paid fully after X amount of days depending on the insurance company. Now, after a full year, which we do have claims in our work queue that I could say go back to 2021, we are not getting paid a single cent for it. So this, at the end of the day, costs the Cleveland Clinic a bunch of money. So the leadership model that I picked for this issue of high numbers in their work queue was the dynamic culture and leadership model, or the DCL model. And below I have four reasons why I picked it. One is adaptability. Um, like I was saying in future slides, healthcare is always changing. Every single day they're making new discoveries, whether it's on the patient side or behind the computer side where I work. So being adaptable to understanding that, hey, it could be a random Tuesday, but my whole work could change on how I do things. So being adaptable is very important for dynamic leaders because flexibility is one of the things you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to understand that you're going to have to change things up on the drop of a dime. And you're going to have to show your employees that you could do that. And that's where the trust component comes in. Your employees who work under you have to trust you. They had to have trust that, hey, our leader is leading us in the right direction. He is doing what is best, he or she is doing what is best for our department and the overall healthcare organization. So adaptability and trust kind of go hand in hand. Then another reason was employee wellness. Thinking of the employees, dynamic leaders can care for employees' mental and physical well-beings. That's something my boss has always told me. So putting them first, you have to be dynamic with it. You have to understand that they have a personal life, that they have families, wives, husbands, children, that stuff might go on in the outside world that might affect them in the workplace, that might affect their mindset. They might not be on top of it one day. So you had to put your employee wellness first. And that was another one of the reasons why I like the dynamic culture leadership model, because as I did more research into this model, it talked about the employee wellness. And I really like that fact because the employees who work under you is what makes a leader look great. Um, if you show your employees that you will go to bat for them, and again, they could trust you, that you are adaptable to change, and they are adaptable to change, it's going to make you as a leader look better. But if they don't trust you and you're not adaptable to maybe their schedule or how they do things, or you're not adaptable to what the healthcare organization is doing and you're behind the eight ball, you're not going to look good because your employees aren't going to be able to perform at the level. The last reason, and to me this is a really important one that I believe in a lot, the dynamic culture leadership model. After I did some more research on this, is inspiration. It really inspires employees to want to be better, to be dynamic, to work in different ways, to find the reasons why to those questions. You know, why are these errors coming back in our work queue? Why are our numbers so high? The inspiration to go above and beyond and that extra mile is truly something important within a healthcare organization for employees. The employees who ask the questions why are always the ones that you could count on. And inspiration, just in anything, you got to be able to believe in yourself and believe in your team. If you don't believe in yourself as a leader, then you're not going to succeed. And if you don't believe in your team, then again, it's a trickle down effect. Employee wellness will go down because they're not happy. The trust within their leader will go down and they won't be adaptable. So these are why I picked these four topics of adaptability, trust, employee wellness, and inspiration. I think they tie really well into the culture leadership model. And I think the dynamic culture leadership model is probably the best fit, that last missing puzzle piece to fixing the issue of high numbers in the work queue. So some strategies that I thought of for model adoption within my work or my department would be, as a leader, you have to show the employees by the actions. Actions speak louder than words. Everyone's heard that phrase in their life. The leader has to set the tone and they have to lead by example. If I'm telling my employees that, hey, this is how we're going to do things from now on, we're going to do it A, B, and C, and I'm not showing them by example, or I'm not doing it every single day, the employees who work under me also aren't going to do it every single day. They're going to do it a couple days and then it's going to get swept under the rug, and the same issue is going to occur and occur and occur. Um, On to my next point, consistency and encouragement. That just plays role into leading by example. You got to, every day, it's got to be consistent. Every day, we had to come up with rules that the team agrees on. Like, this is how we're going to work our work queues. And every single day, you know, at the start of it, it's going to be hard. Just like when you start anything new, it's difficult, it's challenging, you're not sure what you're really doing. But over time, you gain more confidence in yourself. You know how to handle these errors. You are more efficient in them. And then that will build up encouragement that we could do this, and every day it'll get better and better. Another way is I could show proven data. I could go and get um, scholarly articles, or I could look to see if there's anything on the internet of other hospitals around the country that have coding departments have done work this way, and show them that, hey, this is possible. We just have to be consistent, and every single day we have to work at it and motivate them to keep on working hard, even though it's hard at the start. And another one that I thought of that I think would be really good is, you know, the Cleveland Clinic's a very, very big hospital in Cleveland. It's one of the biggest employers in Cleveland, actually. Um, so there are numerous departments: coding, revenue cycle management, finance. There's numerous departments, and I could reach out to other department leaders and ask, hey, have you guys done work this way? And if you have, would you mind getting on a Teams call and talking to my team about this? You know, telling them about the struggles you faced at the start, telling them how it got better and how it is now. Does it make your work life easier compared to what you were doing in the past? Just a little side note. The reason why I say a Teams call is because we work fully from home. So there is no in-person meeting. So I just wanted to clarify that. But yeah, I think those strategies for model adoption would work very well, and I think it would be very successful in my opinion. So for reasons why the stakeholders should buy into my plan on lowering the numbers in work queues. I have four reasons, and these are the four that I just think are the best, in my opinion. If you ask maybe my boss or anyone else from my department, they might say otherwise. Or even if you're watching this, you might have different ideas. If you do, please leave a comment. I would love to know your thoughts. But it will bring in more money. If we decrease the numbers in our work queue, that means we have sent more bills out. When we send more bills out to insurance companies, we get paid quicker, and doctors then get paid, then the hospitals get paid, so everyone is happy. Also, we'll get claims out faster. If we are not getting claims out fast enough, they're sitting in our work queues and they're piling up money. And again, as I stated in my issues tab, is if we don't get the claims out fast enough or before certain deadlines, we don't get fully reimbursed. So when we don't get fully reimbursed, we're losing money. So the quicker we get those claims out more accurately, the better it is because we're not going to lose money and we're going to bring in more for the hospital. Less errors equals more production. So I talked about in the issues that errors come back into the work queue. So if you don't do a claim correctly, it's going to generate back in the work queue the next day. So if I was working on a claim today, um, it will generate back in, and I did it wrong, it would generate back in at midnight tomorrow. So when we have more errors equals more production, we're getting more work done within our department and we're producing better numbers. And that ties into it makes the hospital look good. Obviously, you know, the nurses, the doctors, the physical therapists, occupational therapists, all the hands-on care employees are front line to making the hospital look good. They're the ones who have to take care of the patients. They're the ones that the patient sees. But if we could lower the numbers, it's going to make the hospital look good when it comes to our quarterly audits, our quarterly evaluations of what we're doing money wise. If we could get those numbers down, it's going to just add another light onto the hospital of why we look better. And again, all hospitals want to look good because that's what brings the community into your hospital. I know in Cleveland, there's another hospital, university. So if we could lower our numbers, that also, if it makes the hospital look good, it might bring more employees, which again would tie back into get claims out faster, bringing in more money. It's all just a big loop. So I believe that these four reasons of it will bring more money in, get claims out faster, less errors equals more production, and it makes the hospital look good is a great reason why stakeholders should buy into my plan on fixing the high increased numbers within our work queue. Evaluation of the plan. So this is I'm really happy this was put in as a topic for the PowerPoint because I am very passionate about the issue of decreasing the numbers in our work queues. Being a relatively new employee at the Cleveland Clinic, I've been there 3 years at the end of August. It's kind of hard to speak up. You know, you don't want to step on anyone's toes who are above you in your department. You don't want to come off thinking you know it all. So I'm really happy I could talk about this. The way I think we could evaluate the plan for lowering our numbers in the work queues are weekly audits. At the end of each week, managers are allowed to work on Saturdays and Sundays since they are salary. Anyone who isn't a manager is only allowed to work through to Monday through Friday because they're hourly. So at the end of the week on Saturday morning, you know, I could get on my laptop and run a weekly audit just as I could pull the numbers. I could see, okay, what employees were doing what. I could see what employees are are succeeding at this adoption strategy and what employees need a little more help. And I could use that information from my weekly audits to pair people up. You know, for example, let's say Sally isn't understanding CCI edits, and Jenny is extremely well at CCI edits based on my audit that I pulled because I could see their accuracy, I could see their numbers. I could pair uh, Jenny and Sally up for a couple days the next week, and I could tell Jenny, hey, I want you to show Sally how you handle CCI edits from start to finish. I want you to find difficult ones and show her how you handle it. I want you to find easy ones and show her how you handle it. So weekly audits would be very helpful. Keep track of daily activity. Like I was saying in the strategies for model adoption is consistency and encouragement. If I could look at the end of the day and see how employees are doing, what numbers they are doing, I could see, you know, who is benefiting from this, who's buying all in and who's kind of just, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And not that yelling at him or yelling at an employee or getting angry at any employee ever helps, but I could set up a one-on-one meeting with that employee and I could talk to him like, hey, I noticed your daily numbers are a little bit down. Can you tell me, what's going on? Is everything okay at work, out of work? Build a trust with that employee and, build them up. Let them know like, hey, I'm here to help. I am here to be your manager, but at the end of the day, I'm here to help you succeed any way possible. How can I do that? Biweekly assessments, I think, would be a great idea. Every other week, I could do maybe a little 5 to 10 question assessment on errors, give examples of errors and have everyone do it. And they could turn it in through me individually through either an email or Microsoft Teams. And I could use that as assessment, again, just kind of like the audits to see where people stand, see what they need more help on, what they don't need help on, um, where they need a little more one-on-one training. Weekly Teams calls, I think, are great. You have 40 hours each week. If each day, Monday through Friday, we could section off an hour, whether it's at the start of our day or at the end of our day, for questions from the employees. Maybe they could bring up, hey, I'm having struggles with non-covered diagnoses. Can we go over that? And we spend an hour or 30 minutes, and maybe we do 2 errors, and we spend time just going over that error and answering questions that they have, doing examples, showing them what to look for. I think that would be very beneficial. And observation time. I remember prior to becoming a medical coder, I was in nursing school, and clinical instructors would observe you one-on-one. So I could do, and it was very helpful for students. So I could kind of use that observation and implement it into the work life. I could do, every week I could get employees and I could schedule off again, maybe another hour of just watching them work and saying, okay, maybe they're a little hesitant on asking questions in front of the entire department. So let's do this one-on-one. Let's go into your assigned work queue that you typically work in, and let's go down the errors that you typically work, or the way you work them, and let me watch you. And that way I could observe and say, you know, hey Sally, if you do this, if for CCIs, if you work them this way compared to the way that you're currently working them, you will be more successful at them. Um, you know, Tying this into the weekly Teams calls, I know personally, like I was saying, I'm relatively new, so I don't want to speak up on what I believe we could do to fix this problem because I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to seem like a know-it-all. People might have that same feeling when it comes to the weekly Teams calls. So that one-on-one time really could help them, voice their opinion. Uh, it doesn't have to be me just watching them. It could say, hey Patrick, I think I found this way that we could do non-covered diagnosis is better. Do you mind if I show you? And I'll be like, of course, and I will be able to watch them. And if it works, I could be like, you know what? That's an awesome job, Jennifer. Can you type up a SQC, which is basically at the Cleveland Clinic, a step-by-step on how you do this? Can you type up an SQC for next week and I will have you present it in a Teams meeting and then we could share that SQC with all the employees so they know how to do it. So I believe just those couple of things, I know there could be numerous more, but just those couple of evaluations I believe will be very successful. And I think as I grow as an employee and even if I ever get hired on as a manager, um, I will be able to come up with more ideas. But these are just the couple that I thought of would be very successful off the top of my head.